sports office is hitting a variety of topics today, and so we just have 3 sports guys here. To my right, Bob Brown. You know him from the team.
Man, if I had a sports office like this, Van, I would have never left television. This is unbelievable, man. Got all the big flat screens up here and everything. You got it going on, dude.
Yeah, let's just say this is not my office.
Oh, it's Lawrence's office. I got you. Wow,
This
Lawrence.
is just our studio. This is just our studio.
General manager, this is a job.
Oh, okay, I
And
got you.
Lawrence Gilligan here too. And guys, right out the gate, man. This Penn State thing is just, I mean, it grows legs. It continues to go and go and go. And, you know, with Louis Free coming out with his findings. And these guys, I mean, did Jerry Sandusky, did he have a big skeleton in his closet on all these people to get them to cover up him being a pedophile and molesting children? Because he came back on the campus after they knew that he had these problems.
And they gave him a nice retirement package when they sent him on his way.
So what is going on?
Well, what's going on is he's part of the good old boy network there at Penn State. He's been there. He's been forever, you know, associated with Joe Paterno at Penn State. So they're going to take care of their guy. And I think Joe Paterno, who's used to handling everything, I think he was going to handle this, and he handled it by saying, well, you know, we'll just kind of shove it under the carpet over here, brush it aside, and hopefully it'll all be forgotten. So I mean, it was a big-time screw-up on his part. And now they're going to pay the price.
Unfortunate, man.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're right though about the good old boys. I guess nowadays you can't do that at all. You know, now it's kind of, you know, back then it's kind of like, all right, man, you know, like you're part of my group. You're a friend. You're considered family. Like, all right, well maybe
to that degree. But I asked the question yesterday on the show, Van. How many other schools out there do you think would have tried to cover something up? Not maybe this type of crime, but something that would be a negative deal on the program, the university. How many of them would have tried to look the other way, tried to get it to be, you know, going away?
And maybe so, and I think it comes from that culture of don't, you know, don't put out your bad things, and I think that's totally bad, because I think old school is the way to handle it. You know, like come up front. Hey, look, we caught this guy doing this. These are allegations right now, but we don't want this associated with our university, so we brought it out in the forefront. We're going to take care of it now, as soon as it happened. I mean,
well, that's the honorable thing to do, and you would say that would take courage and guts to do that. Here's the part that you got to remember: this all went down back in 2000, around that time, right? So this is when Joe Paterno was on the hot seat. There was talk about him, you know, time to go, time to call it, you know, call it a career here.
But at the same time, now look what he lost with all that. I mean, even though the guy is not here to defend himself and he's passed on.
Yeah.
But this is, I mean, if he had come out right away, this left like such a big spot on his legacy that, I mean, I just don't think this won't go away. This is a big stain.
Yeah, and then all those talks about his statue being brought down at the you know.
What do you think? Should they take it down? Should they remove it?
I don't know about that.
I don't think so. I mean, he's a legend, obviously. Yeah. Maybe it's sad to say that don't ask, don't tell policy, especially when it comes to different things, but not when it comes to children, you know. So
yeah.
How about the death penalty?
Yeah, I know, right? It's just a really tough subject to kind of deal with. I mean, we can always have our own opinions, but when it comes down to what did, but I mean, think
you guys
about
on
Penn
TV
State
aren't allowed to have your own opinions, right? It's the radio guys.
Yeah, you go ahead, go on ahead, Bob Brown. It's cool.
Look, I'm not tearing the statue down. I think that's a Penn State call. They need to have the alumni, student body, whatever they want to do with that. That's cool. I'm not for the death penalty. I would suggest, you know, maybe 5 years of no going to any bowl games, maybe a couple of years off television. Major sanctions when it comes to scholarship numbers, those kind of things. I think there's so many ramifications involving with just wiping out a program.
Right.
I think that's not really going to help anybody.
Because people get penalized that had nothing to do with it. And we're talking about young student athletes who've already committed to that university, or who might be in the pipeline getting ready to commit to that university. So you don't want that punishment for the transgressions of another man to just hammer so many different people. So I do agree with that. You know, you give them some kind of sanctions and stuff like that. Lobo football, their schedule came out their schedule's been out, but the daytime for the home games, there's a lot of games that are going to be in the daytime, home and away, but all the home games are going to be day games.
So,
I don't have a problem with that. I mean, the first game's at home, the next 3 are on the road. So by the time they get that 4th week of the season, 5th week of the season for those home games, we're going to be into the fall. I'd rather have a day game as well. I like the day games much more better. You just get a chance to get out there and start tailgating a little bit.
Maybe not for homecoming. You know, maybe homecoming is maybe the one game to where it's kind of a nighttime festivity. But I'm just saying, but it's homecoming. You know, there's a lot of things that lead up to it, and it's the halftime ceremony and You know,
Are we still living in the old days?
I guess we are still living in the old days. Huh, Pugs? Thanks. Getting called out by Pugs. All right. I'm just gonna stop talking from here on out.
Hey man, that was funny. I like that. Lawrence like setting the mood. It's homecoming, man.
Well, the question is,
Homecoming.
how many times will the Lobos be the homecoming game?
Yeah.
That's going to be the question.
True.
You know how that
Oh,
works,
man.
right? I mean, they've lined up Texas State for their homecoming game. How many teams have lined up the Lobos to beat their homecoming?
Yeah, you know, and that's unfortunate,
Yeah.
but I think it's going to be a struggle.
Oh, yeah.
This first year is going to be a little bit of a struggle, but let's
Yeah.
see what Bob Davie does, because he obviously has things going as far as the making discipline a big issue with
Yeah.
these guys and stuff like that. And let's hope the guys respond to what's going on and try to show up for the fans. You
Can't
know?
be too hard to run the option. Can't be too hard to run the option. You know what I
Still
mean?
spoke about former
It's a
quarterback.
former
right
quarterback
there.
who never really played, but I'm just saying, in practice, when you get the reps, you run the option, okay? And I think you know a little about the option as well. You know, back in your heyday
Yeah,
in football,
all I did was score touchdowns.
back when you wore leather helmets.
Don't
Oh,
get me about
man,
Come on, options. The option is you or give it up. You know what I'm looking forward to is Bob Davie. You know, the way he handles the media. I like the way he talks to the media.
Well,
and
he's
the
had a
fans.
lot of
He
experience.
says, I'm not going to sugarcoat it for anybody. We're coming out. It's going to be tough, but we need fans to show up at the beginning. Don't wait
Yeah.
for a couple of wins, because that may be hard to come by. We need the fans on board from the get-go. So I'll ask you, Van, do you think, you know, Lobo fans, are they going to be sitting on the fence waiting for a couple of wins, or are they going to show up when the season kicks
Well,
off?
you know what? You look at their past history, and Lobo fans are. Let's just be honest about it. In football, they've been real fickle. So, but that's also they've also shown up at the beginning of the year.
Yep.
You know, and they trickle. You know,
Yeah.
they go away.
It's a long
like a battle
off
of
season.
attrition.
Everybody forgets
They
about
go
last
away.
year.
Yeah, they all forget because people are excited about football, and then the beginning of the year starts, and they're there, but they got to do something to hold them there.
All right, here's how I'm selling it if I'm the Lobos, all right?
Okay.
The fans, they need to come back and show their support for UNM. Why? Because UNM responded to the fans. The UNM,
Yeah.
the administration, they fired Coach Loxley in the middle of the season. The fans were crying and hammering about Loxley. Get him out of there. They respond by firing the guy. So now they owe UNM. Hey, we did what you wanted, fans. You got to come out and support us now. You wanted a new coach? We got one. So come on.
And I think fan support is obviously something that it's something that hasn't been the greatest in football, because I remember when the Lobos, when Rocky was here, and they
Yeah.
and some of the times when they had pretty decent seasons and the fans would come out. There was that one year when they averaged like almost a sellout, and so it needs to get to that status. You know, no matter how well the team is playing, it
Yeah.
needs to get to that status,
Yeah,
just so you can get some backing to your teams. Because if you look at even in high school football, and me and Lawrence, when we're doing these Friday night shows, these small schools like in the southeastern part of the state, you go to those games, and those games they fill up those places,
Well,
no matter what's going on.
There's nothing else to do in some of those small towns. That's one, but it's
No,
about
no,
winning.
but I'm
If
just
you win,
saying-
fans are going to show
But
up.
Yeah.
but,
you know.
but still, if you support, your team will respond for the most part.
Well, I think it's a multifaceted deal here. You
It
gotta have
is. There's a
fans
lot of moving
behind you, the
pieces to this.
city administrators.
Yeah.
You got to have the legislature up in Santa Fe
Yeah.
backing you financially. All those things have to come together.
lot of moving pieces.
And we've seen it. I mean, we've seen Rocky. There was a couple of years there where it all came together.
Yeah.
But it's hard to keep them all pulling in the same direction for year after year.
And let's just face it, this is not like a state that's just like rolling in the dough. And that becomes an issue.
Yeah, yeah.
People have to be, conservative with their dollars, where they're going to put them,
Sure.
what they're going to do, what
I'm not
entertainment
sure
they're
how
going to
much a
choose.
little football ticket is. It can't be that expensive.
Yeah, well, what was it? I know
know,
season tickets now are
$10
cheap. It's
maybe.
$78 or something
Yeah,
like that for
that's
season
that's
tickets.
just
I mean, that's
very affordable.
that's one
especially-
ticket at
Yeah.
the most places.
No,
Not
exactly.
season
Oh,
tickets.
and in this town, you can find a ticket. People are giving them away. There's
Yeah,
always
right,
ways of
because
coming
there's
up with some
businesses that
tickets.
buy 'em, too.
Yeah, they buy them. I mean, you show up at the game, people go out and walk through the tailgate line, and somebody will give you a ticket.
You know what? I haven't talked to you since the NBA draft as far as Drew Gordon. He's going to get to prove himself now with the Dallas Mavericks. And the offseason has been odd for the Mavericks as
Yeah.
far as them, losing some of those contracts they had, like some of those guys leaving, because it would have been a bad contract if they signed some of those guys to keep them around because they were up in age. And so Drew going with the Mavericks, he's going to get his chance in summer camp, and maybe it's a good opportunity for him, because I think he did get overlooked in the draft because I just think he could have helped somebody. I think even though there's some things he could work on, like every player who's coming out.
You think?
Yeah, there's
Yeah,
some things.
yeah.
All of them. Can
Well, that's right. Here's the deal: if you go in the second round, you're not guaranteed any money.
right.
So if you're not going to go in the second round, you might as well be a free agent so you can pick and choose
Exactly.
maybe the best location, the best spot for you where it possibly is
Well,
going to
after
work
2
out.
years, he'll be able to get
Yeah.
that free agent money.
Well,
too,
and
you know, so
here-
that would be better.
Here's the other part about it. You look at it and you go, look, if you do get drafted,
Uh-huh.
really you haven't accomplished anything at that point. Really the hard work has to begin then. So he can just look at that as long as his head's on straight, and I think it is. We had him on the show right before the draft,
Yeah.
and I think he realizes that the hard work is just beginning. And if you're going to make it in the NBA, now you have to prove your worth. What he needs to work on, Van, I think it really comes down to that spot-up jump shot. 15-foot, 16, 17-foot jump shot that he can make consistently. That, he's a rebounding guy. So I just think he can get out on the floor and run, but that's really what he needs to work on, just the face-up offensive moves from 15 feet.
I know him and Lawrence have some history together.
Oh, Drew's a good guy. We come from, our families are kind of entangled from San Jose, but yeah, you're absolutely right. The jump shot, and you can't really coach a nose for the basketball. Coach a nose for being around the hoop, getting rebounds and stuff like that. So he's definitely got that that positive going. But then you look at guys, he's going against 7 foot, so hopefully he can show some muscle. I know Drew's got some muscle on him, and he just got to prove himself that he's a tough player because he really is.
Yeah, the rebounding is want and desire.
Yeah.
I think that's what they like to say.
Well,
I'm not buying into this whole Sports Illustrated article kept him from being drafted. That to me
That's
is,
what I was
I
getting
mean,
ready to bring
it's
that
like
up.
it's like mandatory you get busted for weed if you're going to play in the NBA. Okay, so the things that went on at UCLA, please, that was 3 years
I don't
ago.
think it helped.
Yeah.
I don't think it helped.
It's the NBA, man.
No,
It's not
but I'm
I'm
still
trying out for
saying
the
I don't think it
Mormon
helped.
Tabernacle Choir over here.
Well, I don't think it helped because you got GMs that are making significant investments as far as in players
Yeah,
and
but if
stuff
you
like
can
that.
play, Van, they're
No, I know
they're
what you're
gonna draft
saying,
you.
but
Yeah.
he wasn't. If he's one of the guys, if he's one of the starting five from Kentucky, maybe it's different. It doesn't affect him. But he came out of here, and it's a Mountain West school, and it's not.
All right, I'll give you that
Know what I'm
it
saying?
has an effect in some way, but it's a very, very minimal effect of him not being drafted.
Well,
I'm just not buying an article 3 years in college 3 years ago. He's got a good record.
And
since
what my
then.
whole
I mean,
thing-
He
Well,
hasn't done anything
yeah.
lately.
Yeah,
that
no,
questions
that's
character.
true. That's true, and he's all he's done was show that he's a great guy, and that he's been a model citizen here. So I do give you that.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I don't think it was helpful. I just think that I just don't think it was helpful at all. And it's not Sports Illustrated's job to be helpful to him.
No.
But I just think that they may have put a little dirt.
When I heard all those foreigners going in the second round, there I was like, oh, this
Oh,
is
yeah, I knew
shaping
that. I was
up to
like,
be
yeah.
good for Drew.
Yeah.
Who are these
My
guys?
cousin went the first pick of the second round, so Charlotte Bobcats.
Yeah.
He's a guy who played here, at Hobbs High, and it just shows people how you can come from a little town and go all the way up to the top. And I think Jeff is going to fit in with the Bobcats. I think they're trying to with Kid Gilchrist and Jeff. Both of them have different types of games, and I think they're trying to make that team young and do something.
Young and athletic.
Yeah, because all they could go is up. Because look at what happened this past season. Let's face
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Yikes.
And how about Lobos starting pitcher Hedda Sanchez signing with Houston Astros?
That's
You guys know
awesome.
that? It's great. It's great news. What are your thoughts about that? Not too bad, huh?
I think it's great. I mean, what they're doing over at Lobo Baseball is really cool. It's fun, and we have them on the station, on the team, which is really nice for us. And Coach Birmingham's fun to work with, and he's happy for his guys to move on when they get the opportunity. But it's like, look at the last 3 years, all the guys he's lost. That if he'd been able to keep those players,
Oh, my
how
gosh.
good they
Yeah,
would have
that's
been.
true.
Yeah.
Just
But you know what the players said, and I talked to Ray earlier today about that, about Hedda going up, and the one thing that's cool about Ray is that he's got so much pop that the Astros just ask him about a guy, he tells them, oh yeah, Hedda Sanchez, this and that, and the next day they're calling him, and the guy's signed. It's unbelievable. But it just shows you how much respect they have for him too, on the major league level.
Yeah.
Because he's sending, he's got a good pitcher out here, but he's known mostly for his getting guys to hit the ball.
he's got them hitting, that's for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the beauty of what he can do. He can go to these guys in high school or junior college and say, look at the guys I've had go to the big leagues or get a professional contract. You come play here, I can get you all straightened out, and just maybe you'll get the opportunity.
Okay, upcoming high school football season, and I'd be crazy not to ask you guys at least what you guys think as far as favorites coming out of 5A, 4A, 3A, and I guess
I have no idea, Van. Isn't it the same ones every year?
Mayfield,
Like LaCueva,
Mayfield.
Mayfield. Who else? Las Cruces, maybe.
Yeah. Same guys, huh?
Yeah.
4 ARTs.
Cleveland, Rio Rancho, maybe. I don't know.
Cleveland is an interesting thing now because Heath Ridenauer, who had a good career at Clovis, is going to be taking over with Kirk Potter retiring, and so that's going to be interesting because Cleveland was a juggernaut this last year, and then you lose somebody like Cole at the quarterback spot, and somebody who had that kind of effect on the team, and you lose these key skill players, and you lose your head coach. They got a little rebuilding to do, don't you think?
Yeah, but I think it's a good situation. You got basically the coach says he's leaving, and the next day, the assistant gets a phone call, says, "We're going to promote you to be the head coach." I think it's a good seamless transition. The kids.
No, I agree with that.
I think all that goes into their favor. I think.
That always happens to teams that, like Cleveland. The year before, I thought they were really good, and I thought they should have probably made it or won it. But yeah, losing a guy like Cole, Reese White, but you still have Jordan coming back at running back. You got a lot of guys that they're very athletic, and Cleveland's a team that has so many athletes there that they can be like, hey, come out for football and we'll see what you got. There's so many people that go to that school. It's hard not to rebuild.
Yeah, they just need better facilities out there. I mean,
oh yeah, right, man. It's like a JUCO out there, man. I think Lawrence's alma mater might have something to say about some things too. Rio Rancho might come back and be, they've been pretty even keeled. They've been pretty competitive each year.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. You look at Rio Rancho, they lose Fitzpatrick at quarterback. A guy that was a gunslinger, a guy that kind of was the heart of the team, but who knows? They always find a way to kind of compete. And I mean, last year, I'm not gonna lie, they pretty much shocked me. I didn't think they would go that far into the playoffs and do that well. But you see teams growing. Like it is every high school season. But at the very end, it's always Mayfield, or it's always someone that's always playing for that blue trophy.
Let me say this. I love high school football, but I'm glad it's you guys that have to lug the camera out there and shoot all the games.
We're going to have everybody and their mom line up to take a swipe at you now.
Why? I love high school football. I just don't want to have to carry the camera up and down the sideline. No, I don't want to get. I did that long enough. You guys, it's all yours now. You got an intern. Get him up to speed with the game.
Yeah.
Jared Chester observing behind Robert Pugsley over here. Jared Chester of Eastern New Mexico fame.
He's a big, strong guy. He can lug the camera out there. I'm sure you guys. He's like the steady as a rock over there. Yeah.
We obviously share the same closet because we're kind of
rocking the same shirt.
Kind of.
Well, on that note, we probably should depart. Come on.
Oh, come on, you guys. Come on.
All right, Lawrence Gilligan, Bob Brown, Robert Pugsley behind camera. I'm Van Tate. Jared Chester, our intern, sitting on the side. We'll see you next time.